The seed of greatness exists in every human being, quietly waiting for the right moment, the right mindset, and the right discipline to grow. Every person is born with a unique combination of abilities, ideas, and possibilities that, when nurtured, can transform not only their own life, but also the lives of those around them. Yet most people never recognize this truth because they have been conditioned to believe that greatness belongs only to the chosen few, those born into privilege, those with extraordinary talents, or those blessed with good fortune. But history and experience prove otherwise. Greatness is not a birthright, it is a choice. It is not something you are given, it is something you earn, one deliberate action at a time. The difference between someone who achieves greatness and someone who does not is rarely about intelligence or opportunity. It is about awareness and persistence. It is about the decision to take responsibility for your own growth, to stop waiting for the world to change, and to begin changing yourself from within. The seed of greatness is like a small spark in the human spirit. It does not burn brightly at first, but it never dies. It waits to be fueled by curiosity, discipline, and belief. When you start to believe that your thoughts matter, that your actions can shape reality, and that your learning can create value, that spark grows into a flame. Education plays a critical role in this awakening. True education is not just about memorizing facts or passing exams. It is about discovering how to think, how to question, how to connect ideas, and how to apply knowledge to real life. When people understand that their minds are tools capable of creation and transformation, they begin to treat learning as a lifelong pursuit rather than a temporary phase. Greatness grows in those who never stop learning, who treat every experience as a lesson, and who constantly seek to improve themselves. The path to greatness begins with small steps that often go unnoticed. It may start with waking up earlier, reading more, practicing your craft, or improving your habits. These acts might seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they accumulate into something extraordinary. Every great achievement in history began as a small decision, a decision to start. The key is consistency. The seed of greatness cannot survive in a mind that gives up easily. It thrives only when watered daily with persistence and patience. You cannot plant a seed and expect a tree the next morning. You must nurture it, protect it, and give it time to grow. Likewise, personal greatness requires patience. Many people abandon their dreams too soon because they don't see immediate results. But progress is not always visible. Growth often happens quietly, beneath the surface, and only those who trust the process eventually witness the results. Greatness also requires courage. The courage to believe in yourself when others doubt you, the courage to begin when you feel unprepared, and the courage to stand alone when your vision is not yet understood. The world has always been changed by individuals who refused to wait for approval. They acted on conviction, not comfort. They understood that the seed within them was valuable, and they guarded it against negativity, fear, and complacency. Every time you silence self-doubt, you strengthen that seed. Every time you choose progress over perfection, you give it more life. The truth is, greatness has nothing to do with fame, wealth, or recognition. It is about fulfillment, becoming the best version of who you are capable of being. It is about using your gifts to make a difference, no matter how small. A teacher inspiring a student, a creator building something useful, a leader guiding others with honesty. These are all forms of greatness. The measure of greatness is not how much you have, but how much value you bring to the world. When you start living with purpose, aligning your actions with your values, and striving to make each day better than the last, you are already living in greatness. Belief is the soil in which the seed of greatness grows. If you believe you can, you will find ways to make it happen. If you believe you cannot, you will find excuses. Your thoughts create the atmosphere that either nourishes or destroys your potential. So protect your mind. Feed it with knowledge, strengthen it with challenges, and fill it with gratitude. The more you believe in growth, the more opportunities will align with your path. In the end, greatness is not found in a distant future. It is built in the quiet moments of daily discipline, fueled by a mindset of continuous improvement. You already have everything you need inside you. The question is not whether you can be great, it is whether you will choose to activate that greatness. The seed is waiting, and every choice you make is either feeding it or starving it. When you decide to learn, act, and believe, you give that seed permission to grow into something extraordinary. Curiosity is the foundation of innovation, the invisible force that drives progress, discovery, and transformation. Every great idea, invention, or breakthrough in history began with a simple question: why or what if? The power of curiosity lies in its ability to open the mind, to challenge assumptions, and to push human understanding beyond the limits of what is known. Curiosity transforms ordinary thinking into creative thinking, and creative thinking into meaningful solutions. When you are curious, you stop accepting things as they are and begin to explore what they could be. This is the starting point of all greatness: the courage to question the familiar and to search for something better. In education, curiosity is more valuable than memorization. Memorization gives you answers, curiosity helps you find new questions. When a mind is curious, it never becomes stagnant. It constantly seeks to understand, to connect, and to create. The greatest innovators and thinkers did not become extraordinary because they knew everything. They became great because they were humble enough to admit they didn't, and bold enough to find out. Curiosity teaches us that learning is not a destination, but a lifelong journey. Every experience, success, or failure becomes a lesson when viewed through the lens of curiosity. Curiosity also builds resilience. When challenges arise, a curious person doesn't stop, they explore. They ask, what can I learn from this? Or how can this problem become an opportunity? This mindset transforms obstacles into stepping stones. Instead of being discouraged by setbacks, curiosity turns them into puzzles to solve. It removes fear from failure because every outcome, whether success or mistake, becomes a source of knowledge. In this way, curiosity fuels persistence. It gives people the strength to keep experimenting, improving, and adapting. That's why every innovator seems endlessly driven. They are not chasing perfection, they are chasing understanding. The beauty of curiosity is that it doesn't require resources, privilege, or genius, only awareness. It starts with paying attention to the world around you, observing details others overlook, and asking questions most people ignore. Curiosity trains the mind to notice patterns, connections, and possibilities. It teaches you to see the world not as a collection of limits, but as a field of opportunities waiting to be explored. This mindset separates leaders from followers, creators from consumers, and dreamers from doers. When you cultivate curiosity, you give yourself permission to imagine, to experiment, and to learn freely without the fear of being wrong. In a world driven by rapid change, curiosity is no longer optional, it is essential. The pace of innovation demands people who can think differently, adapt quickly, and explore new frontiers. Curiosity fuels that adaptability. It keeps the mind flexible, allowing you to embrace new technologies, new systems, and new ways of living. Without curiosity, even intelligence becomes limited because intelligence without exploration becomes repetition. The most advanced tools are useless in the hands of a closed mind. Curiosity keeps your thinking alive. It is the energy that powers progress. Curiosity is also deeply tied to creativity. When you ask questions, your brain begins to form connections between ideas that previously seemed unrelated. These connections are the birthplace of creativity. Great artists, scientists, and entrepreneurs all share this common trait, a restless curiosity that compels them to blend knowledge from different areas and create something new. When you remain curious, you never stop inventing, never stop learning, and never stop growing. The spark of curiosity can turn a student into a scholar, a worker into a leader, and an ordinary person into a visionary. But curiosity must be protected. In many people, it fades over time because of fear, judgment, or complacency. Society often rewards conformity more than questioning, obedience more than imagination. To remain curious, you must resist the comfort of certainty. You must accept that not knowing is not a weakness but an opportunity. The most powerful minds are those that stay teachable. No matter how much they know, they still approach life with the excitement of a beginner. This mindset keeps you youthful, energetic, and open to endless growth. To be curious is to be alive. It is to look at the world with wonder rather than boredom, to approach problems with interest rather than anxiety. It is the engine behind every discovery, every advancement, every story of human achievement. If you want to create change, start by asking better questions. If you want to lead, stay curious about people, systems, and ideas. If you want to be great, never let your curiosity die. Because the day you stop asking questions is the day you stop growing. Curiosity is the seed of all progress. It transforms confusion into clarity, limitation into innovation, and dreams into reality. Every time you wonder, every time you explore, you are watering that seed. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep exploring. Because the world belongs to the curious. Discipline outweighs motivation because motivation is temporary, but discipline is permanent. Motivation is like a spark. It can ignite your energy for a moment, but without discipline, the fire quickly fades. Discipline, on the other hand, is the steady flame that keeps burning long after the spark is gone. It is the difference between those who start strong and quit halfway, and those who start small but finish powerfully. In every field, whether it's education, art, business, or science, the most successful people are not those who are always inspired, but those who remain consistent even when they are not. Discipline is not just about control, it is about direction. It ensures that your actions are aligned with your goals, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Motivation depends on emotions, and emotions are unstable. One day you feel unstoppable, the next day you feel empty. If your progress relies on how you feel, you will never reach consistency. Discipline protects you from that instability. It teaches you to act according to commitment, not comfort. The disciplined mind doesn't ask, do I feel like it today? It asks, what needs to be done today? This simple shift in thinking creates the foundation of achievement. It transforms dreams into habits and habits into results. Success, in its purest form, is the accumulation of small disciplined actions done repeatedly over time. Education itself is built on discipline. Knowledge is not gained in a single burst of excitement, but through sustained effort, reading, revising, practicing, and reflecting. The student who studies every day, even for a short time, will always surpass the one who studies only when inspired. The same principle applies to life. Discipline is the invisible teacher that trains your mind to focus, your body to endure, and your spirit to persist. It strengthens willpower the way exercise strengthens muscles. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to maintain. At first, it feels restrictive, but soon it becomes liberating, because it gives you control over your future. Discipline is also what turns chaos into clarity. Without structure, effort scatters in every direction. You may have big dreams, but without discipline, they remain dreams, distant, fragile, and incomplete. Discipline provides order, it gives your vision a path, it transforms your energy into progress by channeling it into consistent, productive action. Many people misunderstand discipline as punishment, but it's actually the highest form of self-respect. It is the recognition that your goals are worth more than your excuses. When you live with discipline, you prove to yourself that your purpose is greater than your mood. True discipline is quiet. It doesn't seek attention or applause. It works in silence while the world sleeps. It's the athlete training before dawn, the writer revising drafts no one will read, the student practicing long after class ends. These moments build mastery. Greatness is not created in moments of applause, it is built in the hours of repetition that no one sees. Discipline makes sure you show up, not because you feel like it, but because you made a promise to yourself. Every time you keep that promise, your confidence grows stronger. Discipline also protects you from distraction. In a world full of noise, social media, entertainment, endless choices, the undisciplined mind gets lost easily. Discipline filters out what doesn't matter. It helps you say no to temporary pleasure so you can say yes to lasting success. It builds focus, and focus is one of the rarest and most valuable qualities in today's world. The disciplined person doesn't chase everything that shines, they chase what aligns with their purpose. But discipline is not about perfection, it's about consistency. You will fall, you will make mistakes, you will miss days, and that's okay. What matters is that you return. The strength of discipline lies not in never breaking, but in never staying broken. Every time you restart, you reinforce your commitment. You teach your mind that failure is not the end but part of the process. Over time, this mental resilience becomes your greatest advantage. In truth, discipline is freedom disguised as effort. It may feel restrictive at first, but it frees you from the chaos of inconsistency, from the weight of procrastination, and from the regret of unrealized potential. Discipline gives you the power to choose long-term fulfillment over short-term comfort. It turns your goals from distant possibilities into inevitable outcomes. So don't chase motivation, build discipline. Motivation will come and go, but discipline will stay and guide you through every storm. When you act with discipline, you become unstoppable, because your progress no longer depends on feeling inspired, it depends on your decision to keep going. That is where true greatness begins, not in excitement, but in consistency. Discipline is the quiet strength that builds empires, shapes character, and turns ordinary people into legends. Failure is a teacher, not an enemy. It is the quiet mentor that shapes understanding, sharpens resilience, and strengthens character. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has met failure many times, yet they chose to learn instead of retreat. In truth, failure is not the opposite of success. It is the process of success. It refines the dream, tests commitment, and exposes weakness so it can be rebuilt stronger. Without failure, there is no growth, no innovation, and no mastery. The idea that failure is something to fear or avoid has stopped more people from reaching their potential than failure itself ever could. But when you understand that every setback hides a lesson, failure transforms from a barrier into a bridge. Education teaches that learning happens through repetition, correction, and reflection, and failure plays a role in each of these. You can read about success, but you learn through mistakes. Each failure offers feedback about what doesn't work, and that feedback becomes the foundation for improvement. Just as a scientist experiments, fails, adjusts, and tries again, every person must treat life as a laboratory for progress. The greatest discoveries in history were born from countless failed attempts. The airplane was not built on the first try, nor was electricity discovered without struggle. Each failure became data, and that data guided the next step. When you view your mistakes as information instead of judgment, you begin to grow exponentially. Failure also reveals the truth about perseverance. It separates those who wish from those who will. Anyone can dream of success when the path is smooth, but only those with determination continue when the road gets difficult. Failure tests how deeply you believe in your purpose. It asks, how much does this matter to you? If your answer is strong enough, you will keep moving forward. Every time you rise after a fall, you strengthen your willpower, Every time you try again, you reinforce your belief that growth is possible. The most successful people are not those who never failed, they are those who never stopped learning from their failures. The fear of failure often begins in childhood, when mistakes are punished instead of studied. This mindset carries into adulthood and prevents people from taking risks. But the truth is, avoiding failure is the surest way to guarantee mediocrity. Growth requires discomfort, and discomfort often includes mistakes. In an educational sense, failure is feedback. It tells you where to focus, what to improve, and how to adapt. A student who fails an exam but studies the errors gains more understanding than one who never made a mistake. Likewise, in life, each failure points you toward mastery, as long as you remain open to its lessons. Failure also builds humility and empathy. When you experience defeat, you learn compassion for others who struggle. You understand the effort it takes to rise again, and that understanding deepens your character. Humility allows you to keep learning without pride blocking your progress. It reminds you that no one is too great to fail, and no one is too small to succeed. In this way, failure becomes the equalizer of life. It gives everyone the chance to grow through experience. Another gift of failure is clarity. When things go wrong, you see what truly matters. You learn which goals are worth your energy and which were built on impulse. Failure strips away illusion and exposes what is real. Many people discover their true purpose only after failing at something else. The pain of failure forces reflection, and reflection leads to direction. It teaches you to make better choices, to align with your values, and to focus on what truly drives you. But failure alone does not guarantee growth, reflection does. You must take time to analyze your mistakes, identify patterns, and apply the lessons learned. Those who simply repeat failures without reflection remain stuck. Those who use failure as feedback evolve. Think of failure as a mirror. It shows you where you stand, but only action changes the reflection. Growth comes from using what you see to move forward with more wisdom and strength. The most important lesson is this: failure is temporary, but quitting is permanent. A single setback cannot define you unless you allow it to. Every failure can be rewritten as progress when viewed through the lens of learning. You are never truly defeated until you stop trying. Each failure you face adds another layer to your wisdom, preparing you for greater challenges ahead. Success is not built by avoiding failure but by using it as fuel. So welcome failure as part of your education. Let it teach you patience, humility, and resilience. Let it sharpen your focus and clarify your purpose. When you learn to see failure as feedback, you no longer fear it, you use it. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in thinking is what transforms failure into wisdom. The most powerful people in the world are not the ones who never fell, they are the ones who learned how to rise again, wiser, stronger, and more determined than before.